Hello, Flosstube. Let's try this again. And by again, I mean, I filmed this video last weekend. I was like minutes within being done of it, and my phone restarted on its own. Video is gone. There's no video. But now I have more stuff to show. So there's that. Let's rewind all the way back to April. We're jumping right in with whips, by the way. Pre-Mania, I started this piece for stitching May's birthday. She is one of my best friends. Even I consider her a dear friend outside of the stitching community, even though I met her because of the stitching community, and I could not participate in her birthday sale. So, there's 5,000 threads in this. It's ridiculous. So, to order all the threads and kit this up and pull from what I had, it was insane. So I was like, I'm just going to go through my threads and figure out what I have that will work for this, that's more me anyway, and I'll go with that. So right now, this is what I have pulled that I'm working with. The Peacock is called for, but how can you not use Peacock on the Peacock? I am stitching this on a piece of 36 count Picture This Plus wren, which now that I think of it, you know, wren is a type of bird, so it's a little appropriate. I may have said a few curse words during the Peacock. It's the bird that never ends. And I can handle, like, some people don't like solid stitching. I like solid stitching because I can just kind of back and forth and do it and not think of it. You kind of have, you got to count and make sure your needle's in the right place, and anyway. So I got all those Algerian eyelets done because I knew if I put this down without finishing those, I would never want to come back to it. They're really pretty. I'm sorry the ring light's reflecting in my glasses. It is what it is. So I put that away for a while. You can see I got maybe about 40% through it. That's really not bad. It's a smaller piece. Maybe I'll be able to knock this out later this year. We'll see. So there's that. I picked back up on the 13th of April. No, I started on the 13th of April, the self-isolating bat. I picked it back up and wanted to knock it out before the month of April was over. It was just something that felt like it needed to happen. So not only did I finish it, I fully finished it. I put it in this frame that I ordered from Amazon. It came to my doorstep without me having to go outside into the real world within a few days, and I'm really pretty happy with it. And if it wasn't a super cheap frame, but to me it wasn't a really expensive frame either. But if anybody is interested, I will try to remember to link the frame down below, because okay, let's get real. This is a tiny piece. I didn't pin it. I didn't stretch it and lace it. Well, Emily didn't even get acid-free mat board. Emily was at home during a quarantine and went up into her husband's eBay shipping closet until she found a piece of substantial cardboard that was about the right size already, and cut it down and pushed the cross stitch over it, shoved it in the back of the frame, cut the edges where they could fold in just a little, and then slammed the back on and closed it. It looks no different than if I had done like an hour's worth of pinning. It might be a little crooked, but guess what? It's not pinned, it's not laced. I can fix that. I'm pretty happy with it. This is going to get hung up somewhere now that I've filmed it. Probably in our bedroom. I like the sleeping bat in the bedroom. On my side of the bed. So the bat is done. Then came Jessie Marie's birthday. I actually watched her video this morning while I was stitching. It's a Saturday. Before I do anything on Saturdays and Sunday mornings, I get up, I feed the cats, I make myself some coffee, I enjoy my coffee and Instagram and social media for a little bit, and then it's Flosstube and stitching and coffee. That's my weekend. That's what I do in the mornings. But she definitely threw some blame my way, which I will accept, for making her work on this piece as well during her 32nd birthday sale. I'm looking for the cover so that I can show that. Hey, a good Flosstuber would have been more prepared, and you wouldn't have had to listen to her rifle through pages. This is Leah Grinnell, 1872. Totally fits the SAL with all the numbers, and talks about days and years. And it's the SAL I'm doing with Jessie Marie. We started this last November 8th, which is the date right here, November 8th. So we started this together. This is one I really want to finish and get framed this year. I'm inching my way towards my goal. I finished the first portion, as you can see here. And I also banged out the entire border. I don't know, there was something this month and the end of last month. Like I think I showed my last video, I finished off the border on Red Deer. I got into this weird Zen rhythm with borders recently. And as long as I'm double checking the chart to make sure that there's not an inconsistency, and I'm double checking my counting, it's going okay. Finishing borders first isn't something I've ever done before. I've always been a person who did a section, and then a little of this, and then, you know, checked those points against each other. But it worked out, so I probably just jinxed myself. The next time I try to do it, you guys are going to see a post from me on Instagram where I'm like, maybe not. But I really want to finish this year. I'm doing this in the called for colors, although it calls for wool. I'm the Classic Colorworks wool. I'm doing it in the Classic Colorworks cottons of the same colors. I am changing. There is one where I think it just calls for a DMC, and it's the color in the house, and I really wanted my house to have some variegation. So I'm changing that. Yes. It calls for DMC 842. I think I pulled gassed chamomile. Felt like a thing to do. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Oh, I just said Classic Colorworks. These are all gentle arts, because I was like, why would I have pulled chamomile when everything else is Classic Colorworks? No, these are gentle arts. I went back to work this week against my wishes. I went back to work starting on Monday. We put all these precautions in place, and washing hands, and no more than this many people in a room, and they're providing PPE, and I still don't understand why I'm there and not at my house, but it's fine. I'm accepting it. On May 1st, I started, along with Bluebonnets and Whiskey and Hollis Hands Creates, the Berry Bowl Sampler. Bluebonnets and Whiskey did this awesome tutorial. Look at these threads. Look at these threads. She did this awesome tutorial where she showed us all how we should be hand stitching together, or how she was hand stitching together her 2 pieces of linen. Made it so much easier for me, because I'm going to admit I was a little intimidated. I thought about doing it on my sewing machine, and I knew I would never be able to keep my seam straight. She showed how she was hand doing it. I think it worked out great. Here's my piece so far. I have a huge seam on the back. There's a story as to why it's so big. It was smaller, and I was halfway through hand sewing 2 pieces together, and I didn't listen to her, and I didn't pull a thread first to make sure my fabric was even, because I was like, it'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. This is straight. It wasn't straight. It wasn't even close to straight. So I was gonna run out of linen before I got my seam all the way down. Like my seam was gonna go off the edge. So I ripped that out, and I was like, I'm going to go in far enough where, like, there's no way I'm going to, and you can tell, like, see how wonky that is? Yeah. I'll trim this down. It's not happening right now. Right now, I have been folding it to the side when I put it in my Q-snap, so it's making it lay all to one side, so that I can stitch on one side at a time with no issue and worrying about catching that in there. But anyway, do as I say, not as I do. This is Heartland and Heritage with the called for threads. Works mascara is just black. Don't buy it. It's just black. So if you can't get it, don't kill yourself to get it. Just use 310. I'm really enjoying stitching this. I set it down so that I could get back to Red Deer, because I'm really enjoying stitching Red Deer, and I have Flosstube itchy nose. My hands are clean. I'm loving Red Deer. I love Red Deer so much. But before I got back to Red Deer, I worked on this. This is my weekend project. That's what I'm doing. I'm focusing on Red Deer through the week. And then I'm going to a new project when I get home on Fridays until I get home from work on Monday. So weekends are about new starts. But Monday at lunch at work, my first day being forced back into the petri dish of the world, was also about a new start. Oh, Peroy, you speak to my heart. Look at him. That is a sexy slug. I'm not doing the bow tie because I like the idea of just a slug. I'm doing his cute little spots. I'm doing his little lips. And the grass and all of that. And I'm doing him, this is my progress, so a week of lunches. I'm doing him on a piece of Picture This Plus Oaken that my dear friend Diana gave to me for my birthday. So, good old Peroy. Got him down to his neck. He's just a floating head. Hopefully I'll get some more work on him during lunch this coming week. And also, I have some hearings. So we're doing a lot of hearings via Zoom right now. And if it's a hearing where I would just be sitting in the gallery watching, I'm not turning my camera on because I'm not going to be a distraction to witnesses or the attorneys or anything like that, because I'm just observing and taking notes. But you know what you can do when you're on a Zoom call and your camera's not on, when you're not actually writing or typing? It's the best thing ever. So here's to hoping there's many more Zoom hearings in my future where I don't have to take a lot of notes. So Peroy started wanting, I know several people have pulled theirs back out since I've started Peroy, and I mean, he's great. Who doesn't want to stitch a slug? Oh, what really inspired me to start him also was Saturday morning of last weekend. I came downstairs, I think it was Saturday. Doesn't matter. Not an important part of the story. But I came downstairs, half asleep, fed the cats, making coffee, and I go to look out the kitchen window into the backyard, and this guy is there. It was a sign. It was a sign that I needed to start Peroy. So I did. But then when I got home Monday night, back to red deer. And so many of you must be buying red deer from Stitch and Frog. And several of you had told me that you did, but a lot of you must be, because I went over to Stitch and Frog last night to look for something else. And red deer is one of their trending products. So I kind of feel like that I did that, which is kind of awesome. Purple hair in my mouth. Red deer. This photo is the antique. When GGR charted this, she must have pulled from the back, but I'm actually really okay with it because these are the happiest floss colors that I've ever worked with. And I'm kind of in a place right now, if you can't tell, where I'm kind of enjoying the color. It's making me happy. So if my stitching can play into that and make me smile and make me happy, then I'm all about it. So I'm doing this on a piece of Lakeside Linens vintage cedar plank. I had a hard time finding this a year ago when I bought it, and I searched the world for it. I think I ended up getting it from Sassy Jacks. But this is where I am right now. I'm getting there. Last time you saw it, I had finished up the border, and now I have moved over and I'm working on the pot, which is almost a mirror image of this pot with a few color changes. I'm going to move down after that, and I think I'm going to save the deer for last because I'm kind of excited about the deer. It's really not, this is on 36 count, so it's not a huge sampler. So pretty, so pretty. I hope this is my screenshot. Okay. I put this down, the last night that I worked on this was Thursday night, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Those were my work nights. And then last night, I came home and I started something I've wanted to start and had kitted up for a while. More on that in a second. Stacy Nash, Butternut Tavern. I love this. I love this so much. I'm doing this on a piece of Picture This Plus Velt that I had bought in, I think their Fat 8th sale. I actually picked up 2 pieces of Velt in their Fat 8th sale, and they sent them to me in one piece. They called me and asked me, which I thought was great. I thought, yeah, I might use like a fat quarter. No, I cut it apart so that I could start this because this fits well on a Fat 8th. That border. I mean, look at it. Look at that border. It's beautiful. Those are not the called for colors. Well, the orange is the called for color. The orange is, let me read here, gassed ginger snap. The brown is supposed to be gassed apple cider. My gassed apple cider had too much of a yellowy orange tint to it. it did not have enough contrast against the ginger snap. So then I pulled out, I think the next one that I stitched in was Heirloom Gold. I don't know. I put several colors in until I finally said, screw it. And I pulled out my DMC, and I ended up with just good old DMC 610. And I think it looks perfect. Something that Cozy Egg said in a recent video was that, you know, some people feel a lot of floss tubers will talk down about Ada or DMC or things like that. There's nothing wrong with them. Sometimes it's just nice and fun to use like the fancy things. Now I am a linen. I prefer linen, but that's because I prefer it aesthetically. There's nothing wrong with Ada. And there's nothing wrong with DMC. I actually have a couple of samplers that I'm planning on starting soon that I've kitted up completely in DMC. It's fine. Because look how pretty that 610 looks. Other issues with the colors in this. So I changed the apple cider to 610. This also calls for Gentle Arts Walnut. This roof and this horse are supposed to be stitched in walnut. Maybe when this came out, which I think was some time ago, I don't see a copyright date, but I know I have seen posts on Instagram as far back as 2014. Walnut is not that color anymore. Now, black walnut, like the actual nut, is about that color. And maybe that's how that color started off. Now walnut is almost of a mauve brown. I have lots of walnut that I'm using in my Jack's Bash piece. It's all a mauve brown color. And it's really inconsistent in dye lots, even in that range. It is nowhere close to this color. So know that, if you're kitting this up, if you want your roof to look like this, don't buy walnut. I bought, hold please, Classic Colorworks Black Coffee. I feel like black coffee is a great variegated brownish grayish black. That's what I'm using. One other issue, I have plenty of issues. I feel like in this picture, which is what I fell in love with, that the border around the alphabet looks more blue. What is called for is Otter Creek. I am going to use Brethren Blue. Those are the changes that I'm making in this. If anybody else is falling in love with it as I'm stitching it, that's what I'm doing different. So there's that. And I think I'm going to film a Stitch Fix video, but then I'm getting right back to that and making a huge mess in the process. We also have some haul and some plans that I want to talk about. So I had told you guys previously that I was going to start this month, and I really wanted to do it on sand, but I really didn't want to cut into this big fat half. I searched high and low for sand. People offered me pieces of sand. I don't want to take somebody else's piece. So then I thought, hold please. So then I thought, well, Picture This Plus has that new color that just came out, Vellum. Yeah, it's pretty close to sand. Here they are side by side. Sand is obviously this one with the big tag, and this one's Vellum. There's a part of it with a little less modeling. So it's actually a little bit more creamy vanilla. And I definitely think that I can do this on it and I think it'll look really nice. I might darken up the girls' skin tones just a little bit to make sure that you can see it off of there. But I think it's going to look really nice. So I bought a piece of vellum. I also might have bought a piece of Lakeside Linen Sand Dune because it came up for sale on 1-2-3 Stitch. Silkweaver has a Facebook page, and they have been doing, and that's Needleworkers Delight up in New Jersey. They have been doing flash sales for a long time. I had accepted that if I bought something, a piece of linen or something off of their flash sale, they're not good with shipping customer service. You get it when you get it. Whenever they remember where the post office is and figure out how to get there, maybe they'll drop your package off in the mail. Well, guess what? Apparently, having their store shut down and having to only operate through the mail to make money has increased their shipping speed. I don't know. I've only gotten one package so far, and it came really fast. Like within like the week. I got a piece of a solo, just a nice neutral of Edinburgh linen. And I got this 36 count antique khaki, which was an odd cut. It's a 17 by 33. Can anybody think of what I can put on a 17 by 33? Because this is really pretty. Antique khaki is pretty similar to Picture This Plus belt. What can I put on this? Something awesome. I don't know. So these came so fast that I bought some other pieces last weekend. They haven't shipped yet. So maybe they'll come quick too. We'll see. We'll see. It'll be fine. I don't need it. Speaking of things I don't need, I had a thought that I might want to try punch needle. So I asked people what punch needle they use, and people have consistently said the Ultra Punch. So ordered one of these off Amazon. I've taken it apart to look at the book, but that's as far as it got. I also ordered this off of Etsy because I was like, you know, I'm probably always going to associate Tiger King with this period of time. So maybe I should do punch needle with a tiger on it. So I ordered this from Karen Amadio Gates Folk Art Designs. I don't know. She had really good customer service. It was really, like, she messaged me when I ordered something. It was nice. Look how awesome that tiger is. Says it was inspired by a hook rug made by an unknown artist in the 19th century. The original is in a collection of the Shelburne Museum in Vermont. Anyway, it goes on and tells you more about the history. But then this says that you need a 1-strand punch needle. And this is a medium and large tip. And I don't know. And this is tiny. Like, I think I need something easier for my first piece. And I might also want somebody to hold my hand because look how little it is. It's so tiny. But it came with, like, the fancy threads. Like, just the right amount of fancy threads. And I don't know, I'm a little intimidated. So this has just been sitting here. isolation anxiety time is not a good time for Emily to learn a new craft. But it is a good time for her to buy new crafts. So I'm just going to have this sit there until I get ready to start it. Plus, I think I need like a real like punch needle hoop that really holds your fabric and doesn't let it loosen up. Let's talk more about plants. I may start 2 things a weekend because I can. So I'm thinking I'm moving this bad boy up and I may start it tomorrow. And I'm doing it with these colors on this lovely 18th century rook. I showed this previously. So that's probably going to get started tomorrow. A piece that's probably getting moved into my start, which you're all going to go, that's not a very Emily project. I don't care. I like it. It may not be my aesthetic, but I'm going to tweak it and make it my aesthetic. And I'm going to freaking love it. The Little House Needlework ABC sampler charts. I love these. Look how cute they are. Fauna did this, and she did it all in one piece, and it's freaking gorgeous. Yeah. So I'm going to stitch them with the border, because there's not a border on here, but I just flashed it to you real quick. There's a border on the actual chart. So I'm going to stitch them with the border in like a 9x9 grid. And then I saw Vonna did her own like border, but I think I'm just going to do a solid extra border around the outside of all of them. And darken the colors a little. I'm going to do it on a darker linen. It's going to be fabulous. I'm going to try to do several more videos between now and the end of May, just because it's fun. I'm enjoying everyone else's extra videos. And it's Stitch Mania. So let's be a little manic with our videos too. See you guys next time. Stitch all the things. Stitch happy things with all the happy colors. Bye guys.